June 13th, 1944. 08:55 hours. Villers-Bocage, Normandy. The morning air is already warm, heavy with the smell of crushed hedgerows and hot engine oil. Sunlight filters through apple trees along the N175 road, flashing across steel hulls as a British armored column rolls forward in parade-like confidence. Tracks clatter, radios crackle. Men sit high on turrets, helmets loose, rifles slung casually. This is supposed to be a quiet push, an exploitation, not a fight. You can almost hear the laughter. The 7th Armored Division, the Desert Rats, are moving through Villers-Bocage as if the war has already turned in their favor. They have broken out of the Normandy beachhead. Caen is within reach. German resistance, they believe, is collapsing. Intelligence reports say the enemy armor is scattered, exhausted, disorganized. Tigers? Too heavy, too slow, overrated monsters that guzzle fuel and break down before they ever reach the battlefield. At the head of the column, Cromwell tanks glide forward, low and fast. Their crews are veterans of North Africa, confident men who have outmaneuvered panzers before. Infantry half-tracks follow, then artillery tractors, then more tanks. A long, exposed ribbon of steel winding through narrow Norman roads. No flank guards, no overwatch. Ahead, the town of Villers-Bocage sits deceptively calm. Shutters closed, streets empty. The church bell tower rises against a blue sky. Somewhere nearby, a cow lows. Somewhere else, an engine idles. Less than 200 meters away, hidden behind a hedgerow and partially masked by trees, a Tiger I tank waits in silence. Inside that tank, Hauptsturmführer Michael Wittmann listens. The interior is dim, cramped, and suffocatingly hot. Sweat runs down faces smeared with grease and cordite residue. The smell of fuel, steel, and human breath fills the air. Wittmann's hands rest lightly on the periscope controls. His eyes move, calculating. He has been awake most of the night. He knows his situation is desperate. His unit, Schwere SS Panzerabteilung 101, has been mauled by air attacks and mechanical failures. Many of his Tigers are knocked out or immobilized. His own tank is operational, but isolated. No infantry support, no immediate backup. The sensible choice would be to withdraw, to wait. But then he sees them. Through the narrow slit of his optics, the British column unfolds like a shooting gallery. Tank after tank, soft-skin vehicles, men exposed, no dispersion, no caution. A gift. Wittmann is not smiling. He is calm, focused. This is not bravado. It is instinct honed by years of armored combat. He knows what his Tiger can do. He also knows this moment will not last. British air power could arrive at any minute. If he is going to strike, it has to be now. He issues short, clipped commands. The Tiger's Maybach engine roars to life, a deep, mechanical growl that vibrates through the hull. Branches snap as the 57-ton machine lurches forward, breaking cover. The long 88mm gun swings toward the road. The first British tank crew never sees it coming. A flash, a thunderous crack. The 88mm shell slams into the rear of a Cromwell at point-blank range. Armor crumples. The turret erupts in flame. The tank halts instantly, smoke pouring from hatches that will never open. Shock ripples down the column. Before anyone can react, Wittmann fires again. Another Cromwell explodes, its ammunition cooking off in a violent chain reaction. The road is suddenly blocked by burning wreckage. British crews scramble. Radios scream with overlapping calls. Orders collide with panic. What is that? Where did it come from? Wittmann does not slow down. He drives straight onto the road, fully exposed, the Tiger's massive bulk now unmistakable. The British gunners try to traverse their turrets, but it is too late. The 88mm fires again and again. Each shot is precise, lethal, final. Cromwells are pierced clean through, their thin armor helpless against the tiger's gun. One tank attempts to reverse, only to be smashed through the side. Another fires wildly, its shell ricocheting harmlessly off the tiger's frontal pleat with a metallic scream. Inside the British tanks, disbelief turns to terror. Their weapons are not working. The tiger keeps advancing, rolling past destroyed vehicles at walking speed, its tracks crushing debris, its gun hunting for the next target. Infantry scatter into ditches, half-tracks burst into flames, ammunition trucks detonate, sending black smoke spiraling into the sky. This is not a skirmish. This is execution. British officers shout for anti-tank guns, for air support, for anything that can stop the beast now ripping through their column, but coordination has collapsed. The road is a killing ground. The hedgerows, once comforting, now feel like walls closing in. And Michael Whitman is not finished. As he reaches the outskirts of Villers-Bocage itself, he turns his tiger toward the town center, toward more armor, more targets, more opportunity. His gamble has worked. The laughter of the morning is gone, replaced by shock, fire, and screaming steel. Inside the tiger, the crew reloads again. Ahead, the narrow streets of Villers-Bocage wait. The tiger rolls into Villers-Bocage at 09:02 hours. The town is no longer silent. Stone buildings amplify the sound of the engine until it becomes a metallic roar, echoing off walls and narrow streets. Civilians who had stayed hidden now flee in panic, doors slamming, windows shattering as shockwaves ripple through the town. Smoke from the burning column behind Whitman drifts forward, wrapping the streets in a gray, choking fog. For a brief moment, the tiger is alone. Whitman knows this is the most dangerous phase. Urban terrain is death for tanks. Corners, blind angles, close-range ambushes. A single well-placed shot from the side or rear could end everything. But hesitation would be worse. Momentum is his armor now. He accelerates. At the town square, a British Sherman Firefly sits angled near a building, its long 17-pounder gun pointing uselessly away from the road. The crew is still dismounting, confused by frantic radio calls describing a heavy German tank tearing up the column. They turn just in time to see it. The Tiger's turret swings, the 88mm fires. The Firefly vanishes in a violent explosion, its turret blown clean off and hurled into the street like a discarded toy. Flames lick up the stone facade behind it, blackening centuries-old walls in seconds. Whitman does not stop to watch. He pushes deeper into the town, hunting by instinct. Another Cromwell appears at a side street, attempting to bring its gun to bear. One shot, the tank collapses inward, metal folding like paper. A third tank reverses desperately, grinding into rubble before being obliterated. The British response is chaotic. Some crews abandon their tanks and run. Others fire again and again, shells slamming into the Tiger's hull with deafening clangs, leaving only scars and sparks. Inside Whitman's tank, the impacts sound like a giant hammer striking an anvil. The crew flinches, but the armor holds. You can feel the imbalance now. One machine dictating the fate of dozens. British infantry scramble to set up Piat anti-tank launchers from doorways and alleyways. A rocket streaks out, hitting the Tiger's side, and fizzles uselessly, leaving only a scorch mark. Another shot misses entirely, exploding against a wall and showering the street with stone fragments. Whitman responds without mercy. Machine guns chatter, cutting down exposed infantry. The 88 pivots again, blasting a half-track into fragments. Each engagement lasts seconds. No prolonged duel, no hesitation, just violence, delivered efficiently. The town becomes a maze of fire. British command vehicles burn. Ammunition trucks erupt, their explosions lifting debris into the air like confetti. Telephone wires snap and fall. Smoke thickens until visibility drops to meters. Somewhere, a wounded man screams, the sound swallowed by engine noise and gunfire. And still, no coordinated counterattack. The British had not expected this. Their plan assumed scattered German resistance, not a single aggressive heavy tank punching straight through their spearhead. The Tiger is not just destroying vehicles, it is shattering command and control. Units cannot communicate, officers cannot orient themselves. Every street corner might hide the monster. Whitman knows his luck cannot last forever. He is low on ammunition now. His supporting Tigers are still out of position. British reinforcements will come. Fireflies, artillery, air power. If he stays too long, he will die here. But before he withdraws, he spots one more target. At the far end of the main street, several British tanks are regrouping, attempting to form a defensive line. Their guns are finally facing the right direction. This is the moment when the hunter becomes the hunted. Whitman does not wait for them to fire. He charges. The Tiger barrels down the street, debris crunching beneath its tracks. One enemy tank fires, a clean hit to the Tiger's front plate. The shell shatters, fragments skittering away uselessly. Whitman fires back, direct hit. Another British tank burns. Then it happens. A loud, violent impact rocks the Tiger from the side. Not a ricochet, not a glancing blow, something heavier, something closer. The engine sputters. Warning lights flicker. The Tiger lurches, slows, and finally grinds to a halt near the outskirts of the town. Smoke pours from the engine compartment. The crew looks at him, waiting for orders. Outside, British tanks are maneuvering. Infantry is closing in. The streets are narrowing. The unstoppable beast has finally been wounded. And now, Michael Whitman must make a decision that will determine whether this moment becomes legend or a grave.
The Tiger is motionless. Inside the hull, the sudden silence is almost shocking. The engine's roar has faded into an uneven cough, then nothing. Smoke seeps in through every seam, acrid and hot, stinging the eyes. The crew waits, frozen, listening to the sounds outside, shouted commands in English, the clatter of boots, the grinding repositioning of enemy tanks. Whitman knows this pause will be brief. He snaps orders. The crew moves instantly, trained for this nightmare. Hatches are unlatched, pistols are checked, documents are secured. The massive 88mm gun sits useless now, still pointing down the street it dominated moments earlier. If the British realize what they have, they will not hesitate. The commander's hatch bursts open. Whitman climbs out first, boots hitting the pavement. Heat radiates from the hull. Flames flicker near the engine deck. Bullets crack overhead, snapping into walls and pavement. He waves his men out, one by one, into the cover of rubble and shattered stone. Behind them, the Tiger, the machine that just minutes ago ruled the battlefield, begins to burn. The British are closing in. A Cromwell edges forward cautiously, its gun trained on the abandoned tank. Infantry fans out, rifles raised, expecting an ambush that never comes. When they realize the crew has escaped, the tension shifts to something else. Awe. Up close, the Tiger is monstrous. Its armor is scarred, blackened, pitted with dozens of impact marks, proof of how many times it was hit and refused to die. British soldiers run their hands over the steel, shaking their heads. Some curse, others laugh in disbelief. This was one tank?
Wittmann and his crew disappear into the chaos of the town, moving through gardens and hedgerows, eventually linking up with other German units on the outskirts. He is alive, his crew is alive, and behind him, Villers-Bocage burns. The fight, however, is not over. British commanders are scrambling now, trying to understand what just happened. Radios finally cut through the confusion. Reports come in, contradictory, frantic, almost unbelievable. A tiger attacked the column. No, multiple tigers. Dozens of vehicles destroyed. The road is blocked, completely blocked. Headquarters struggles to make sense of it. How could a single German tank penetrate so deep, so fast? How did an elite armored division get caught so unprepared? The truth is more uncomfortable. They underestimated the enemy. By midday, British forces pull back from Villers-Bocage. What was meant to be a decisive push toward Caen stalls completely. The desert rats, veterans of countless battles, are shaken. Confidence has been replaced by caution. Every hedgerow now feels like a potential ambush. Every shadow might conceal another tiger. German reinforcements arrive. Panzer IVs, more tigers, infantry with anti-tank weapons. The town becomes a contested ruin, traded back and forth in brutal fighting over the next days. But the moment has passed. The opportunity the British had that morning is gone. All because of one decision made in seconds. Word of Wittmann's attack spreads rapidly through both armies. Among German troops, it becomes legend almost immediately, a lone tiger charging into an armored column and emerging victorious. Propaganda units seize on the story, turning it into proof of German superiority, of the invincibility of their heavy armor. Among the British, the tone is very different. Survivors talk about the sound first, the deep, terrifying crack of the 88mm, the way tanks simply stopped existing after a hit, the feeling of helplessness as shells bounced off the tiger like pebbles. They had laughed at it. Now they respect it and fear it. Villers-Bocage becomes a turning point in mindset, if not in strategy. British tank doctrine begins to change. Emphasis shifts to combined arms, infantry support, artillery coordination, air power. Fireflies are deployed more carefully, positioned specifically to hunt tigers. No more casual advances, no more assuming German armor is obsolete, because the myth has been shattered. The tiger is not slow, not clumsy, not overrated. It is a predator. And at Villers-Bocage, it proved that technological superiority in the hands of a skilled commander can bend an entire battle around itself. But even legends have limits. Michael Wittmann will not survive the war. 2 months later, in August 1944, he will be killed near Sinto, his tiger obliterated by Allied fire. The age of the tiger will end under bombs, rockets, and overwhelming numbers. Yet the echo of that morning in June lingers. In the hedgerows of Normandy, British commanders learned a brutal lesson. Arrogance kills faster than any gun. And sometimes all it takes to change the course of a battle is one man, one machine, and the willingness to strike when everyone else hesitates.